Taylor Swift is 35 years old. She's a billionaire. She has conquered music, film, and even football stadiums. She's arguably the most powerful pop star of our time. But here's the thing. Behind the sequins, the billion-dollar record deals, and the sold-out world tours, Taylor Swift is still in high school. From the very beginning, Taylor branded herself as the outsider. In songs like Teardrops on My Guitar, 15, and You Belong With Me, she was the girl no one picked. She wasn't the cheerleader. She wasn't the homecoming queen. She was on the bleachers, scribbling in her notebook while the popular kids ruled the dance floor. That underdog persona connected deeply with fans who also felt invisible. But what's fascinating is that once Taylor actually became the most popular girl in the world, she didn't leave that story behind. She flipped it. She went from singing about the cool kids who overlooked her to becoming the cool kid herself, running the squad, writing the rules, and deciding who gets to sit at the table. Look at the themes: cliques, mean girl feuds, crushes, and revenge plots. Even her latest album, Life of a Showgirl, reads less like the work of an artist ready to enter a new era of maturity and more like a diary entry from sophomore year, just with a marketing budget big enough to fuel a football halftime show. Swift isn't just one of the most successful artists in history, she's also the eternal teenager of pop culture. And today we're going to break down exactly how she's built an empire by staying stuck in high school, and why that refusal to graduate might finally be catching up with her. The clearest example of Taylor's adolescent world building came during her 1989 era. That was when the squad took over. Karlie Kloss, Gigi Hadid, Cara Delevingne, Selena Gomez, an entire supermodel homecoming court that Taylor paraded on stage as if she were a head cheerleader introducing her friends at the pep rally. Every tour stop became an Instagram-worthy roll call of the cool girls. If you were in the squad, you were protected and untouchable. If you weren't, you were dismissed or iced out. Miley Cyrus compared it to a cult, bluntly calling the whole thing sexist. Amy Poehler and Tina Fey made a harmless Golden Globes joke about Taylor's dating history. And Taylor clapped back in Vanity Fair, warning that women who don't support other women have a special place in hell. That wasn't feminism. That was Regina George with a microphone. And this is the twist. The girl who once sang about being overlooked by the cheerleaders had now become the cheer captain herself, parading her inner circle on stage like a homecoming court. The squad era revealed Taylor's instinct to replicate high school dynamics on a global scale. The world wasn't just watching her career anymore. We were watching her pep rally. And standing outside the gym doors was Katy Perry. If Taylor is the queen bee of the school, then her feuds are the hallway fights that define her empire. The clash with Katy Perry is the most famous. Taylor released Bad Blood, a diss track not about global politics or industry corruption, but about backup dancers who dared to switch tours. The drama dragged on for years, with cold shoulders on red carpets and award shows, until Perry finally sent her a literal olive branch in the mail to end it. That isn't adult conflict resolution. That's a locker note truce. Her pattern continued with Olivia Rodrigo. At first, Taylor gushed over Olivia as her artistic heir, the teen prodigy carrying her torch. But when Rodrigo's songs Deja Vu and Good For You became massive, suddenly Taylor and her co-writers were given retroactive songwriting credits. To fans, it looked less like mentorship and more like a senior cutting in line when the sophomore starts getting too much attention. The big sister narrative collapsed into hallway politics. Taylor couldn't let the new girl shine too bright. Then came Charli XCX. In 2024, Charli's long-awaited UK rollout for her album Brat got swallowed whole when Taylor dropped a deluxe edition of The Tortured Poets Department on the exact same day. Headlines bluntly said it: Charli was buried under Swift. Charli brushed it off with a wink in interviews, but everyone knew what had happened. It was déjà vu for anyone who'd been following Taylor's career, yet another artist derailed by the girl who runs the senior class. Even Taylor's friendships often feel like extensions of this dynamic. Camila Cabello, once close with her, reportedly found herself at odds with Taylor's possessiveness. The Whisper networks describe the friendship as intense and territorial. Again, very high school energy. You can only sit with us if you follow the rules. And here's where the irony cuts deepest. Taylor built her career on being the outsider, the girl writing from the sidelines. But once she had power, she became the gatekeeper, the one deciding who gets in, who gets out, and who gets punished if they cross her. She isn't just stuck in high school. She's living out the fantasy of becoming the popular girl she once claimed to resent. Taylor's world is always divided: insiders and outsiders, allies and enemies. And that divide is never more obvious than when it comes to her songs about boys. Taylor's catalog of ex-boyfriends reads like a roll call of teenage drama. There was Joe Jonas, who broke up with her over the phone in a 15-second call. She didn't just move on, she broadcast the slight on Fearless and in interviews, painting him as the villain of her homecoming dance. Then John Mayer, immortalized in Dear John, a song so searing that Mayer later admitted he felt humiliated. Then Jake Gyllenhaal, who inspired Red, perhaps her most emotionally raw album. But Taylor didn't stop there. In 2021, she dropped the 10-minute version of All Too Well, complete with a short film that dredged up decade-old pain. That wasn't closure, that was reopening the yearbook and circling your ex's picture in red pen. Harry Styles came next, fueling 1989 with songs like Style and Out of the Woods, the sound of a girl dating the popular guy and writing about every roller coaster fight. Calvin Harris gave way to Tom Hiddleston, and the Hiddleswift tabloid Summer gave us paparazzi shots of Hiddleston in an I Heart TS tank top. That wasn't romance, it was a pep rally stunt. Then there was Joe Alwyn, her longest relationship, which still produced albums full of coy metaphors and hidden Easter eggs. Instead of showing maturity, Taylor doubled down on the adolescent thrill of decoding clues in the margins of a diary. And then there's Travis Kelce, or rather his ex. On Life of a Showgirl, Taylor slips in thinly veiled digs about the girl before me, widely interpreted as a swipe at Kelce's ex-girlfriend, Kayla Nicole. Think about that. 35 years old, shading your boyfriend's ex through song. This isn't reinvention, it's gossip in the hallway between classes. While Adele sings about divorce and Beyoncé sings about legacy, Taylor Swift is still writing about the quarterback and the girl he left behind. If boys and frenemies fuel Taylor's music, then revenge fuels her empire. Her career isn't just about writing songs, it's about turning every slight into a billion-dollar rebrand. Look at her feud with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. From the infamous 2009 VMAs interruption to Kim's snake receipts in 2016, Taylor didn't just clap back. She transformed the hate into reputation, a snake-filled revenge era that reintroduced her as the villain. Black lipstick, diss tracks, entire stadium tours built on the idea of, look what you made me do. That wasn't just an album, it was a billion-dollar catharsis. The Scooter Braun saga showed the same instincts. When her masters were sold, Taylor could have handled it through lawyers and boardrooms. Instead, she launched Taylor's Version, a re-recording campaign that weaponized nostalgia to punish her enemy. It's brilliant business, yes, but at its core, it's revenge marketing. And then there's the chart Sabotage. Taylor has a history of timing releases to kneecap rivals. In 2017, Katy Perry released her album Witness. The same week, Taylor put her entire back catalog onto streaming services for the first time, sucking up all the oxygen and headlines. In 2020, she surprise dropped Folklore with less than 24 hours notice, overshadowing multiple indie releases. In 2023, Billie Eilish released Hit Me Hard and Soft. Within a week, Taylor flooded the market with new Tortured Poets Department vinyl variants and surprise tour announcements, burying Billie's momentum. In 2024, Charli XCX's Brat release was flattened in the UK by another Taylor drop. This isn't coincidence. Taylor plays the industry like the high school science fair. When another kid brings their project, she knocks it over just to make sure hers gets the blue ribbon. For more than 15 years, Taylor Swift has built her empire on refusing to grow up. Swifties love decoding her songs because it feels like gossip. Every album rollout plays like the first day of a new semester. New cliques, new crushes, new drama to dissect in homeroom. She has perfected the art of selling adolescence long after most of her listeners have graduated from it. But now, the cracks are starting to show. Critics of Life of a Showgirl point out that it sounds like more of the same. Recycled prom queen ballads, subtweets in the form of piano ballads, veiled digs dressed up as high art. The same tricks that once made her unstoppable now risk making her look stale. And when you stack her against her peers, the contrast is striking. Beyoncé leveled up with Lemonade and Renaissance, tackling motherhood, black pride, and cultural legacy. Adele gave us raw divorce ballads that turned midlife heartbreak into catharsis. Lady Gaga reinvented herself through jazz standards, Oscar-worthy acting, and avant-garde performance. Taylor has reinvented the costumes, the tour names, the aesthetic eras, but not the content. The themes remain stubbornly adolescent. She is the eternal teenager. And while that's made her a billionaire, it's also why critics, and even some of her fans, are asking, is this all there is? Is Taylor Swift ever going to graduate? So here's the question. Is Taylor Swift a pop genius, or is she just the world's most famous mean girl? The truth is, she might be both. She has built an empire out of high school politics. Every feud, every breakup, every subtweet has been transformed into a sing-along anthem, and the world has bought in. But the bigger question is whether Taylor can ever grow beyond it. Because right now she feels stuck in the hallways, still running the most lucrative pep rally the world has ever seen.